Hello and welcome back, Smite fans, to game number 2 between Llamas in Pyjamas versus Deadweight. Deadweight currently 1-0 against Llamas in Pyjamas. Can they go for a split here? Llamas in Pyjamas, of course. My name's Parathas, Link's clone. After that game, Llamas, how do you reckon they're going to come back from this second one?
They might draft similarly to last game, because last game they actually did pretty decent, and they need to change a couple of the picks up. Theo Wheelix actually works really well for Zachariah. Like, he actually played it very competently, and even though he had, like, 0, the only person he could really catch with the gravity surge was either his own knockup or Scylla, and he still performed exceptionally well. However, we saw a bit of lackingness. The Cabrakan nearly worked, it was doing well. However, the Zeus, I think, was the problem. Swifty really needs to get a hand on that Llamas. That's his signature god. He currently, I believe, has top player damage thanks to that Llamas, so if he can get his hands on that, he is going to do absolute wonders on it.
Alrighty, going into picks and bans in just a second for you guys. So, Llamas really need to pick themselves up. What, a Llamas, Shurix on Raven potentially, and there's a few things that they can pick up here.
I'd maybe like to say something like possibly a Bellona. Bellona, even though she's such a strong god in all stages of the game, that bludgeon will hurt a ton. The Eagles rally just helps your team out. I feel like that could work quite nicely for Shurix. Because as we saw, if you can combo that with something with a Llamas, that could be a really nice combination. Just put them in place so they can be hit by that 3 space on time. I don't know, like they could do a lot of stuff.
Alrighty, Hoyi is going to be the first ban. Deadweight going to be banning away Raven as well. Once again, Hoyi focused towards Horizon. He's played 1 game in the Pro League with it, and he played it so well. The ricochets were on point. The marks were, the stuns were just too strong. The Sunbreaker ult can be used in pretty much every single team fight to its full advantage. Cabrakan now being banned out for Llamas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, so with the Cabrakan ban, they now realize if you can't play him and you can't beat him, ban him. So that, they're simply just, they don't want Shred to get ahead. We've seen, however, Shred can play other gods in that game. He did pretty decently on Hercules, even though he had ping issues. And last week we saw in his Umbertoras, he was able to solo out Ro. So, however, Deadweight, banning out Kepri, they didn't like it last game and they hate it. It was basically shutting down Ogre when he tried to go in as Alquang.
Yeah, the Abducts were very strong. Again, we're going to be seeing Athena locked in. This time will be in the hands of Llamas in Pyjamas. So already they have a very, very strong draft compared to last game. I just love Athena.
Yeah, Athena.
Deadweight have. No, I refuse.
Susanoo is finally appearing. This is his 2nd appearance for the OPL. This, given to Ogre, I'm going to see him go absolutely wild. And with a Guan Yu, I would not be surprised if Shred went and invaded with this. He's known to invade in the past, did so against Insight, and Stormcard is such a disgustingly strong ability. However, Swifty getting a break for once, finally getting his Giannis and Thor being drafted for Zachariah.
Okay, so Giannis, Thor, Athena, global ults, all 3 of them. It's a heavily rotating team, so Llamas expect a lot of ganks to be coming through from them, trying to shut down. Deadweight pick up Alquang. What? Wait, Susanoo. So Guan Yu's going to be solo or support. Alquang will be most likely jungle. Does that mean Susanoo mid?
Could be solo is my guess. I was accidentally once forced to play Susanoo mid and it can work. It'd be an extremely weird strat, but the thing is he does so much damage, he actually can easily get a lane clear if he just has a blue stone starting off. He does have a little bit of a mana issue, so he can be a bit rough if he doesn't get that blue buff and gets red instead. However, looking at bans, Llamas have banned out the Scylla and Deadweight, banning out Bellona.
Bellona and that Shibalonke. Scylla is a good ban. They might be... if Susanoo isn't going mid, they could look to pick up an Isis. Agni is still on the board. There's a lot of strong mid picks. Shibalonke was banned, and now it's going to be Soul, so really trying to focus away Agni here. I don't know who is going to be played mid here for Deadweight. There's, as I said, the Isis and the Agni, but does it really work against the team that Llamas have drafted?
They could actually look to pick up an Isis because they can put down the circle protection for objective control. However, Geb getting drafted for Weave, making it more likely that if the Guan Yu's either going jungle or solo, because you don't put Geb anywhere else. He is a strict support. Currently, he's fallen out of favor this meta. He just hasn't been able to perform as well. Simply, his kid just doesn't lend to being aggressive. He's a very, very passive support. So I'm interested to see how he does. However, Jock and Ram getting drafted by Llamas.
I don't understand this. There's Raven on the board still. Llamas, Shurix can play it. He plays it very, very well. I think he almost has a 100% win rate when he's playing Raven. Instead, locking in the Shark and Rama. And the final ADC for Deadweight is going to be Ula. That is a very interesting pick. Horizon on Ula.
Yep, Horizon, when he picks up Ula, is going to do a pretty decent job. He plays actually quite a bit of duel in the OC scene, so he's very good at the 1v1s. And even against a Rum, I feel like if he can land that axe stun combo, he will be absolutely fine. With the Shark, just going back to that, Shark is such a weak pick. He falls off very quickly after the early game and just will have zero impact. He's basically an ult bot, and the ult is pretty pathetic. All it does is silence. So Llamas, that I feel like they failed quite strongly. They could have drafted, as you said, just so many better solo laners, and they picked Shark.
Going into game now in just a second. As you said in the picks and bans, we might be seeing an invade here from the Guan Yu. Of course, Ogre's going to be playing that Ao Kuang once again. We could look to see an invade. They have a very, very strong comp to invade. But just having a look at the items, both not picking up any of those damage potions, going into their starter items and then boots.
I think we're like completely just glossing over the fact that Agony is playing Susano or mid. Like,
I'm avoiding it.
I'm avoiding it. Might not be an invade anymore, but we need to stress the fact this is Susano or mid. An assassin known for high burst damage going into the mid lane is not something you would see. But since Susano is just so overpowered with that Stormcutter, I think he'll do actually pretty fine.
You say that he'll do fine. Does Susano have a decent clear to sustain himself in lane?
Like, oh yes, he does. That Bluestone
Pendant, compared
Bluestone Pendant Stormcutter, you can't underestimate, because Stormcutter is 2 damage abilities in 1.
Okay, I'm just gonna put it to the side. Agony is going to be playing Susano in that mid lane. I'm just gonna keep it at the back of my mind and just address it when he gets a pentakill within 10 minutes of the game.
And now we're having a look at the start, so we can see that Shred is doing his usual shenanigans kind of start, going to mid cam instead of going to lane. And with that,
look at Swifty.
It's a bit easier than using. Oh, Swifty already extremely
low. That was
low.
one ability.
Yep, Stormcutter for you, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my, that's what happens when Susano gets picked.
And I'm just trying to think here. If Susano, if he gets caught off, they have Geb, can back him up with that shield as well. Shred's gonna have heals to constantly be sustaining him. There's a lot of CC on Deadweight here. I don't know, just from drafts alone. Oh, look at Agony going in. Look at the damage.
Yep, that's. Look, I think we can stop talking about that as we have a look at the duo lane though. As Llamas Pyjamas have a very easy win over the duo lane. As Geb is basically one of the worst lane clears, early game lane clears, just since the Shockwave does less damage the further out it travels.
Indeed it does. Rama, he has a fairly decent clear as well. Both ADCs, of course, going into that throwing dagger. Horizon playing on that Ula. Bladed Arrow and also Hail of Arrows is fairly strong for clearing as well. It does use up a bit of mana, however.
And with the Athena, if she can basically catch Ul out without his jump, that could be a massive victory. And now, just everyone else just doing their casual normal starts. No stealing of backhands this time by Llamas and Pyjamas. They just don't want to deal with Agony. I think they just kind of want to put him out of sight, out of mind, because he is just going to be outputting that much damage.
As I said, both in the picks and bans, having a look. Of course, Llamas and Pyjamas have drafted an extremely global team here. Rana Brown is going to also have that Astra Barrage. Having a look in Duro though, Weave once again getting zoned out under that tower, losing a bit of farm. He's gone for that Blink Cataclysm start, which is fairly typical on a Geb, but if he's being pressured out this early, we're going to have to... If he falls down, he's just going to fall behind, and really Blink Cataclysm is not an option because he'll come in and he'll just die instantly because he's behind.
However, I feel like Geb doesn't have to worry too much, because simply he's just going to rely on the rest of his team to get that farm, and all they need is to land that Cataclysm, because if beats are down on the side of Llamas, an Ogre can initiate, Agony can initiate, even Shred can initiate, because with that, the Cavalry Charge, you can do a lot of damage. Actually, Fire Elemental's being contested by both solo laners.
Yeah, Shurix is going to pick those up with that, with the Thunderstrike, throwing down that axe, I guess you could... A big axe that Shark does have. Guan Yu versus Shark. Of course, we haven't really seen too much of Shark. Why isn't he picked that often?
For Shark? you're talking about?
Yeah, yep, for charge.
I said in the pick and ban phase, his early game is very strong. As you can see, he's completely out-clearing Shred, and there comes the silence coming out. But Shred just pops the cavalry charge, using the CC immunity to easily get away. So Shark, his issue is very, very strong early game, as I just mentioned. He can lane clear very easily. Bluestone combined with that, absolutely fine. However, once he gets past that early game, his damage falls off so hard. And since you usually build quite tanky, you don't want to build a lot of damage items, you're kind of forced to build a lot of damage items because otherwise you just won't be doing anything with them.
Really, if he decides, do you reckon he's just going to go, as you said, for like a fairly damaging build? Really, if he built defense, walked into a team fight, use that Stormcall ult to really make sure that Ogre and Agony can't use all their abilities really quick, because that's what they're really based off of. I can see it sort of working out, silencing if he decides to peel for his backline, making sure that they can't use any of their abilities. I can, yeah, as I said, kind of see it working out.
However, almost, as I said, again, like last game, Dead have drafted, even though Llamas have a very global draft, Dead have a very mobile draft. They have almost everyone, except for Geb, whose rollout takes a bit of time to come online. They can all very easily get out of the Stormcall, because it takes a while to actually channel and then land. Susanoo can just use either Jetstream or the Stormcutter to get out. Ogre, Water Illusion, Horizon can leap, and even Shred can just use the Warrior's Will and get away. So if he can't land that Stormcall, he's basically an old bot who can't do much because they're just too mobile to land.
Fire Elementals now being picked up. Fairly surprising to see that we haven't seen any engagements, like any kind of attempt to try and get a kill other than a few pokes in the mid lane. Zach's going to be looking to come into this solo lane here. I would have liked to see Zach. He played a wheelish last game. He played fairly aggressive, ganking duo lane quite often. Good wall there to zone away, so make sure Shred can't go under that tower, but Taiyu Assault just doing too much for him.
However, the double tap, and comes out the Stormcall. Shred extremely low, but Weave rotating and just providing enough, just putting on that Stone Shield, just saying, hey, look, Shurex, I know you're strong early game, but you need to back off. We got Conviction, we got heals, we're fine. And Ogre now rotating over to possibly catch out this overextended Shurex.
However, Zach is still lurking in the jungle. Shurex is going to be teleporting away, just using that torrent. Oh, good Cataclysm coming through onto Shurex. There's that cavalry charge coming down. First Blood might be coming through in a second. Going up in the air is Thor, and there's that Defender of Olympus ultimate coming down onto Shurex, and crashing down comes Thor. But he finds no one in return. Tori still looking to go onto Shred. Swifty's coming in. Unstable Vortex could be coming in soon. But coming back down once again is Ogre.
That was an extremely clever move by Ogre there. However,
Agony
coming in with the Storm, the Typhoon will not connect with. Actually, no, it does connect with Zachariah. Swifty extremely able to just get out with the portal. However, I think he was actually tapped there. Yes, as Susanoo is just chilling in the backline, trying to find a kill. The knockup might give him an opportunity. The Jetstream picks up the kill, and Ogre gets it.
Ogre finds that one, and now Tori's going to be looking to still chase here. Shurex is returning full health, full mana, but Rollout's going to secure his escape. Looking to go onto Ogre here, who has no mana whatsoever. Thundercloud coming down just a second. Ogre has to back away here because he doesn't want to be facing an Athena. Still looking to go on here. This team fight's been going on for quite some time now.
That was an incredibly interesting team fight, especially as you saw the power of Susanoo. Even though Yanis, as I thought, was out of there, he was able to enter the portal. All Agony did there was just tag him with the Jetstream and then hide behind him. That is the power of Susanoo. He can teleport with a god who usually is considered one of the most mobile and impossible to lock down kind of gods. And then Ogre did an incredibly smart thing when he went up, as he saw Swifty was trying to engage on the tower, he basically jumped behind him to basically force Swifty to look behind him, see if there's anyone, like if the Alcon can actually try and kill him, and just basically spook him, completely drawing his attention away from the extremely low Shred as well as Wave.
Good team fight for Deadweight. They pick up 3 kills in total, having a look into our grass as well. By this time last game, we did see Gold Fury getting started up, but again, we're going to be seeing Zach going up in the air. Cavalry charge came down, and he has to back away because if he got caught out there by the team, he would be, again, falling down.
And now they're just, as you said, just going back to that kind of farming game. Even though the Anvil is almost forced out, I don't think a Gold Fury will be starting up anytime soon. Currently, no ward pressure whatsoever around the Gold Fury. As you can see, Llamas have a 3, actually now I feel like it'll be a bit different thanks to the D1 from Tory Skies there. They'll have a little bit more ward vision there. And they currently have 4 wards around it, but not actually in that pit.
Tory backing away here. 8 minutes in, we do see Horizon just lurking around in this jungle area. Haven't really seen too much coming through from Horizon and Rana Brown. Expect as we said, a lot of boxing potential, maybe. But I guess we're just going to have to hold on to late game until both the ADCs have really finished off their ass size, their chin size, potentially their Eco Balls as well, and then their Wind Demons. That's the time we start seeing these ADCs hit like a truck and start to really dominate the fights. Good Cataclysm in the mid lane. Swifty taken extremely low, and Agony finds that one with the Typhoon. Swifty falling down, and now it's going to be Tori up in the air. Doesn't actually, gets pulled in from Susanoo. You cannot escape their team whatsoever. It's going to be 2 kills from that team fight again toward Deadweight.
I'm just seeing more how Susanoo has completely countered the Llamas. He was trying to get in the portal there, but the Typhoon just knocking him out, completely denying him the chance to enter that portal and finishing him all, and finally picking up the kill on the Athena with using that Wind Siphon. He basically has a Hercules pull that does quite a decent amount of damage, and with that Bluestone, he's already doing... Actually, let's have a look at player damage. Currently, Shark is in the lead with Susanoo only a little bit behind, about 800 damage behind, with Alcong also doing quite a bit of damage earlier. It's been involved in quite a lot of the team fights.
And Swifty playing, as you said, one of his most comfortable gods. He does a lot of damage. Also, as you said, almost one of the highest damaging gods he plays. He's sitting very, 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 very at the bottom of the damage charts, only doing about 250 damage. Hasn't really been given the opportunity to really do much damage, I would say, but he's been part of a fair few fights and just hasn't found the damage whatsoever.
He's just been completely shut down by the Susanoo. Shred going deep into Llamas and Pyjamas jungle, just using that Turtle Soul, trying to see if he can get some damage onto Zachariah, but the Thor Wall will come out and that will stop any damage. And now Deadweight, they're just looking to control the mid lane. They may possibly even try and get another team fight, because every team fight they take there is completely advantageous. 0 and 5 at 10 minutes is a very comfortable position to put in.
0 and 5, as you just said. God Fury hasn't actually been contested by any teams in this game. Ogre and Weeb looking to go here onto Tori. Knocked down Swifty with a good unstable Vortex. Tori just has to back away at this point. Can't really do too much. Ogre still looking to go onto him, and Agony is now here to back the rest of his team up. Good ultimate coming through, and there's that Defender of Olympus. Cataclysm coming through in time, but Agony finds one onto Tori in the backline. Pulls Zachariah back in. Weeb finds that one with the basic attack, and up in the air goes Rana trying to find the snipe, but he doesn't find any kills whatsoever. Once again, a flawless victory for Deadweight.
I'm getting a very, very familiar, like, that feeling of deja vu. 2 weeks ago, we saw Llamas. They did okay in the first game, but the second game, they got absolutely destroyed very quickly. And I feel like this is going to happen all over again. I don't know. I know we said Llamas could maybe try and ban away a couple of the gods of Deadweight, but leaving Susanoo open is such a fatal mistake.
Exactly right. Having a look in the damage now after that team fight, once again we do see it's going to be Ogre topping the charts. Well, having a look in our duo lane there, Rana very, very low there. Horizon doesn't actually hit any CC at all, doesn't find the axe stun. He's going to be backing away because Zachariah is lurking around. So is Tori in this jungle area. The ward battle has begun on the Gold Fury, and I would like to see that actually started out.
And however, over in the solo lane, then we saw Shred actually getting hit by Shurik's Storm Coil, and the Thunderstrike will get him very early. Shurix soloing Shred, getting put your solos in chat, people. That was a beautiful kill by Shurix.
When do we start seeing, as you said, obviously Chark is a very, very strong early game. When do we start seeing him fall off? Because he hasn't.
Well, once we start seeing a couple more of the defensive items come out from the side of Deadweight, that's when you start to see him fall offline. And Ogre, he actually has a very easy time killing Shark. He has a heal that's instant. It's like, pop, that's a nice bit of health. Shark's heal is a slow heal over time, and that's what Ogre was looking for, because it means he can easily get someone below 30% and pick them up. Speaking of getting them low, there goes Ogre picking up Tori's guys with the Alcong Dragon.
Once again, Tori getting caught off guard. Gold Fury being started up here once again by Deadweight. Basically, their initiator has fallen down, so they're not going to have a big taunt Deadweight. Find it fairly easily. Zach's going up in the air to get a bit of vision, but he won't be able to find too much at all because really this Gold Fury already finished 5 seconds before he ulted. He can't find anything at all.
Having a look at our graphs, we can see it's 3,700 XP and 3,200 gold, all in the favor of Deadweight. However, Shurix, realizing he wasn't going to get a Gold Fury, has actually been able to sneak in a tier 1 tower with the Defender of Olympus also being used to back him up just in case Shred had enough damage.
Yeah, the team is coming over there, and that's a through space and time as well. However, big amount of damage coming through from Ogre, and now they have to back away. Agony's doing a lot of damage here. There goes that Typhoon ultimate. Manages to find 3 people, and the cavalry charges once again begun. They're diving this tier 1 tower. Good double stun there. Ogre finds the kill onto Shrux, and the Taiyo Assault comes down onto Swifty. Should find it with a basic, and Agony is granted with the kill.
And now Zachariah possibly trying to find something. However, Ogre just does so much damage. Rana going into the SC. He can possibly get a snipe. Not able to get the first or the second. And missed the third. Ogre picking up a kill on Zachariah.
Tori still lurking around. Shouldn't really be looking to defend this. There's 4 members on this tier 1 tower. Falls down, and now the pressure has again begun for Deadweight, and they look to go down there. The dot damage coming through. Tori could be looking to fall down here. No, not going to be teleported. And Cataclysm finding 2 once again. Wee finds that one with the knock up. Tori falling down, looking for the tier 2 tower. Deadweight. Once again, a flawless fight for Deadweight.
Yes, they literally Llamas are just getting bursted here in sheer amount of both physical and magical burst damage on the side of Deadweight is simply too much. We mentioned how the Geb has a pretty rough early game, but all he has to do, as you see, he just blinks in and lands a character, even on 2 people is enough, as he knows the rest of Deadweight will back him up and just dish out the damage that Geb currently can't put out. Now they're all retreating after a very flawless team fight, able to pick up 2 towers in the mid lane. The only tower that spawned was a single solo tier 1 for Llamas.
Let's talk about air damage. Having a look at Weave, who's been, as you said, basically on point this game. Cataclysms have been absolutely perfect. Geb's been doing more damage than Swifty and Tori Skies almost combined.
Yeah, that is extremely a bad sign. Like, when you know a Yanis is second last on the chart, you know your team is going to lose this game. Swifty has been completely shut out by Agony. He's been not been able to do anything. He's been constantly just blinked on.
In a bit of trouble, Defender of Olympus coming down. Zach in a bit of trouble here. Swifty not able to defend his teammate, and he falls down. Agony might be in a bit of trouble, but Runner going up in the air. Can he manage to find the snipes? Doesn't find one, doesn't find 2, and the Geb shield is too good to secure his escape. Runner, no mana whatsoever, has to back out, but here comes Weave once again, looking to go onto Swifty. Gets up in the air for Dragon Food. Ogre finds that kill of the game, finds 7 this game. What a play.
And Ogre still diving the backline, and Shred looks like to easily pick up the kill with the cavalry charge. Free Sky is also about to fall, while Shurex has rotated over. It's too little, too late. Double kill, Shred.
And now they're looking to take down these towers, looking to siege all of Llamas in Pyjamas towers. The conviction and the meditation is strong to keep them even pushing further, and they're going to be able to take this tier 1. Not going to be able to find that tier 2, however. Shurex is here. Zach's going to be lurking in the jungle, has that ult. If they are looking to engage, which they are, actually looking to push this tower, if they get taken out by Zach here, he's going up in the air, and they can find a lot of damage. But Shred's going to be healing them up. Ultimate doesn't find anything too big, and neither does that double tap. They're just too tanky, and they're looking to go once again. Ogre finds it onto Zach. I don't know why they defended that tier 2, but the burst is just too strong for Deadweight.
So let's have a look at the scoreline. So last game, Ogre played Alcorn. He was doing okay. This game, 8-0-8. Now compare this. Now you need to compare this to Zachariah. Last game, I believe it was something like 7-5, 0-5-0. They've only been able to pick up 1 kill this entire game. 1.
That's gonna affect the stats there for Timmy after all these like Llamas. They've been dragging out games. They've been really raking up their player damage, doing so much for their team. I mean, this is a stomp for Deadweight. This is exactly what you predicted during the picks and bans after they picked up the team. As you said, a bit of deja vu coming from the week number 2 where Deadweight picked up a fairly easy game in their second. They're doing it once again here, Lynx.
And now they're just looking to push down the remaining towers, even though Zachariah as well as Runner are trying to split push as well. This isn't a war you're going to win. Deadweight just have too much damage. This has been GG long ago, and I'm surprised Llamas haven't surrendered yet, but they want to try and stay face. They want to try and maybe bring this game back, but I see absolutely zero hope. And if they are able to pull it back, I don't think it can ever happen.
Cataclysm finding 2, but the beads is good as well. They're looking to go on to Tori here. Backing away, Shurex is just lurking in the backline, gets taken down extremely low. Tori gets eaten for Dragon Food, and Agony finds Shurex as well. And look at that Phoenix, it's fallen down through space and time, finding 2, but they're just too sustained, and they're still split pushing But Llamas have their Titan being under attack here. It's just at about 75% HP. Zac going up in the air with that Ambulance door, looking to come down, crashing. Looking to come down. No, doesn't find anything too big. And Weave, extremely low, uses the shield, juking away with that rollout. He manages to get away from Runner with those snipes. And it's again going to be a wipe here. Zachariah falls down and Swifty manages to find his first of the game with an unstable Vortex. And a good play there from Llamas in Pyjamas, managing to keep deadweight off. The Titan Runner finds his first of the game as well.
That was the Phoenix there, just Agony choosing a bit of an awkward pathing out of the Titan there. They were just a tiny bit too aggressive. They've now got such a big lead. Even though they were able to give away such a massive amount of net worth, that isn't going to mean much. They have a minor setback. No Phoenix fell though, as Runner was actually forced back just as he was about to take that Phoenix in the door lane. So now, deadweight, what they need to do is just kind of wait a bit, wait for Agony and Ogre to come back online, look for the Fire Giant. However, Llama is trying to get their way back into the game as they're going for this uncontested Gold Fury.
Yeah, Gold Fury, actually no, it's going to be deadweight. They could be looking to come over here in a second. Ultimate coming through. Llamas do pick up that Gold Fury, however, they might be in a bit of trouble. There's that curse coming through onto Tori. Does get stunned out there by Horizon, looking to chase him down. Cavalry charge coming down in a second. He's going to find the kill. Shred, granted with his third of the game. And once again, it's going to be another push here. Actually, they're going to be backing and spending their gold. Speaking of spending their gold and their items, Weave has gone for Rod of a step, please.
Rod of a Sleep. Okay, so basically, it's an aura item. So, unlike Gauntlet of Thieves, which it only is a passive which affects itself, basically what this does is increase the healing and health regeneration of allies by 20%. So what that means is when Guan Yu pops that conviction, you're getting 20% even more healing. And since that is on constant cooldown, because usually if you heal a teammate, that reduces the cooldown. If you heal a warrior as well on an enemy, that reduces the cooldown. It's just constant sustain that no one can just deal with. Zachariah forced to back away as Agony gets a nice pull.
Oh my gosh, pulled back into that Cataclysm. Ogre finds an easy double kill with the help of Weave and the team. Do they go for gold? Do they go for Fire Giant here? Yeah, that's probably the best call just to end this game. I would say it's almost flawless that they've won this. There's not really going to be any contention here for Llamas.
I don't know.
Through space and time coming through, maybe trying to find it. But no, it doesn't. It's a little bit off the mark there, Swifty. A bit more to the right next time, bro.
I don't know if he was trying to get a kill. I don't think he knew he could not secure the Fire Giant. I think he was just trying to get, possibly just kill Ogre. Because since it's such a long range snipe, he could have possibly gotten a kill. Build is very different to what we normally see from Swifty. Usually we see the Doom Orb and other really risky items. But you just seen how he's been completely shut down. He just can't build those items anymore.
You can't.
And forced into a much more defensive build. And now Deadway looking to push their second Phoenix of this game.
We're going to be tanking this up. Good amount of damage coming through from Swifty with through space and time. Cataclysm could be coming through in just a second here. It's going to be a reset here. The shield is coming through. Shred with a good ultimate there. And it's paired up with that Typhoon. Going up in the air is Zac. Tori finds a kill onto Shred. Crashing down. Manages to find Ogre and Weave. The beads was good. Double tap coming through. Swifty finds it onto Ogre. Horizon falls down to Zachariah. And once again, it's going to be a push here. Tori just trying to do some amount of damage. Rana going up in the air, manages to find one onto Agony, finds the third. No, it doesn't. Sanctuary is too good.
And now Llama's just looking to actually pick up some more kills, but the Titan is getting attacked. Horizon getting a double kill. Triple kill!
Can he find the Quadra? Onto Swifty. Quadra kill for Horizon, playing the Aula. And now they're looking to close out this game. The fire minions are pouring down into the base. They could look to go for this Phoenix here, or straight for the end, as the next person to respawn is going to be in 5 seconds, which is Zachariah. Is it a good call to push this one, Lynx? We'll be able to find out in a second.
Well, since Zachariah, I don't think he can defend it. All he can try and do is stun out, but by the time the Cataclysm comes out, the damage, Horizon gets an unofficial pentakill. Titan will fall. GG for Deadweight. 22 minutes, 29 kills to 5. This is why they are the #1 team in OCE, and now no one can currently question that.
Not at all. What a play there at the end by Horizon, and a great game there for Deadweight. A bit of deja vu, as we've said throughout this cast. I mean, what a game there for Deadweight.
Yes, everyone did extremely well. Even Weave, who was actually put onto the back foot by the duo lane of Rana Barana and Tori Skies, he was still able to do everything he needed to do in the mid game. His job was very simple: blink and ult. And he did that exactly as he needed to do. Every single time Deadweight draft, they draft for positioning. I'm going to keep saying it. And they worked again. Agony was actually did an incredible job showing that Susanoo can also be played in both jungle and now mid if you want, because he's
Yeah,
just such a strong god.
he's too strong in every single role. But I mean that's just Susanoo for you. Let's just bring in one of the members for Deadweight. It's going to be Weave himself playing that Geb in that second game. So Weave, after that crushing 2-0 defeat, I mean, how were you guys feeling after that?
Oh, we felt pretty good. Yeah, we were pretty confident we were gonna win, because we beat them in week 2, and we felt we've improved since then.
So in that second game, you guys drafted an Ao Kwong, you guys drafted a Susanoo, Horizon was on Aula. I mean, going into the second game with that draft, were you guys extremely confident with all the burst you had?
Yeah, we were really confident we were gonna win. We drafted like 3 top picks. I don't think they expected the Susanoo to go into the mid lane, so they didn't really think about the Aquan pick.
Yeah, what were the thoughts? I mean, were you guys playing it in scrims at all? Was Agony keen to play? Has he been playing it quite often in scrims?
He's been playing it in casuals a bit. We didn't really play it in scrims much because it's been banned every game.
Yeah, true. A bit of a surprising ban. I mean, or not a ban. You guys were able to pick that one up. Lynx, you have any further questions for Weave?
Yeah, so in the previous weeks, Ogre has played gods like Ao Kwong, Kali, Bastet. So, sorry, just the Kali and the Bastet. We haven't seen much of the Ao Kwong. So, why this week? Who was the one who called out, I want Ogre to play Ao Kwong?
It's sort of just the burst. I don't know. Aquan's kind of cheese because you can kind of just get easy kills and snowball out of control, so we didn't want them to have that.
Alrighty, that was great. Any shout outs before we hand you off?
Yeah, shoutouts to Shred's internet connection, and shoutouts to Hughesy's inspirational speech before game 2. Wouldn't have won it without him.
Wait, we didn't hear about the speech. What was the speech?
He told us to win, otherwise we suck.
That's going to be motivation for you guys. Yeah. I mean, Hughesy said it first. You guys better win or you suck. And that does it for us. For Deadweight versus Llamas in Pyjamas. We'll be back in just a second with Pandemonium versus Insight. Their rivalry once again continuing. We'll be back in just a second, guys.